It is your boy Charlie Mack, and I got my beautiful best friend. Say something.
Good morning.
Today on Barbershop Talk, aka Therapy Session, we're going to do a um discussion on the seasons of marriage, right? So this is a love devotion, and it's going to be based off of multiple scriptures, so we can intertwine real life experiences with the word. So let's start by talking about the seasons of marriage, right? And we're going to stem it off Psalm 74, verses 16 and 17. It says, "Both day and night belong to you, Lord. You made the starlight and the sun. You set the boundaries on the earth, and you made both summer and winter." Who made summer and winter?
The Lord.
The Lord. The Lord made summer and winter. Now, the Bible tells us that God has created all the boundaries of the earth, including the rotation of the sun, which causes seasonal changes, right? The seasons come and go: winter, spring, summer, and fall. So, do the seasons of marriage, so do the seasons of marriage. Relationships are perpetually in a state of transition, continually moving from one season to another. But the season of marriage don't always follow the order of nature. You may be in the spring marriage today and a fall marriage next month. So, what do these seasons of marriage look like? Sometimes we find ourselves in winter, meaning we're discouraged, detached, and dissatisfied. Other times we may experience springtime, which is openness, hope, and anticipation. Now, on other occasions, we bask in the warmth of summer, meaning we're comfortable, relaxed, and we're enjoying life. And then comes fall, where it's uncertain. There's a lot of negligence going on, and people are very apprehensive, right? So these cycles, they repeat itself many times throughout the life of marriage, just as seasons repeat themselves in nature. So in the next few topic sessions, we're going to talk about the recurrent seasons of marriage and help you identify which season you guys are in. And we're going to talk about where we've been, where we're at, and where we trying to go. So also, I want to suggest ways to enhance the seasons of marriage so you'll never be stuck in one season, and you guys can make positive changes in y'all relationship. Okay, so I'm a first, after reading this, we're going to ask my beautiful wife over here. She created some questions. I don't know the questions. I'm going to just go off the top of my head because I like to stay organic, not politically correct, just how I feel from the bottom of my heart. So, babe, let's begin this questionnaire. And I hope you guys are having a beautiful morning. We made it another day, so thank the Lord.
So, what season of marriage do you think that we are in and why?
What season of marriage do I personally think we are in and why? I would say, based off of what we just read, we're in the midst of spring and summer.
Hmm.
And the why behind it is because I feel like we've learned so much about each other. We've already been through the fall seasons, so we see that very vividly. We already been through the winter seasons, and because we've been through that, we've talked about it and grew through it.
Hmm.
It gives us a sense of hope, right? Which
Yes.
is a part of spring. It gives us a warm comfortability that we're open and communication now, which is a sign of summer. And we're continuing to grow based off of those seasons, right?
Yes. Very good.
Oh,
I love it.
thank you,
I
thank you.
agree.
How
I
about
agree.
yourself?
I agree. I think we've definitely been through our winter season and we've moved into a spring, summer season. We're working towards more accomplishments, but I think we're on the right path.
All right, what's the next question?
Um, what was toughest for you when we were in the winter season of our marriage?
Mmm. She say, what was the toughest for me when we were in our winter season? So let me just, because I love to keep it 100, let me just see exactly what the winter season was, and I tell you where I was at mentally. All right. And while I'm doing that, can you tell me where you were in our?
Well, the toughest for me?
Yeah.
Um, I would say the toughest part for me when we were in our winter season was feeling disconnected, not feeling unity or one.
Okay. So a part of the winter season is like hurt, anger, disappointment, loneliness, rejection. Um, you said how was I feeling?
What was the toughest for you?
Oh, the toughest for me was one thing of my growth mindset that I learned. It was like I couldn't control the situation, every situation that I felt that I should have been able to control due to my moral perspective of it. That's what I learned, that you can only control yourself, And once I learned that and created that attitude, that's how I got myself together because I started bettering myself instead of putting energy into anything that wasn't wanting me to put energy in or didn't allow me to. How about yourself? Did you answer that already?
I did.
Okay. Okay. So what is number three?
And my next question is, what are some actions that we took, either together or individually, to get out of our winter season, to get to where we're at that could help others?
That's a great question. What are some actions that we took to get out of our winter season to transition into a spring and summer season? Great question. I think the action we took was one, we stopped taking the opinions of what others felt, and two, we had to dig deep and identify our flaws, not just a scenario or one circumstance, but we
Mm-hmm.
had to identify what we needed to work on as people and our character intertwined with that because of the mutual respect and seeing the growth of attitude and behavioral change pattern that helped us become more trustworthy of one another, and because of that, our desires, I know my desires has changed, where I used to like going out all the time to feel excited. It's more of I like building what we have and continue to build in order to grow as one. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
What about yourself?
Great answer. Great answer.
Oh, I thank you.
Um, yeah, I think the biggest thing is redirecting our focus back on God. That always changes the dynamic
Mm,
and the tone of
a
a
hundred
relationship.
percent, 100%.
Good.
What else you got?
Those were my questions.
All right. So she just answered. So now what we're going to do, we're going to talk a little bit about the winter seasons of a marriage or a relationship, but it's more for marriage, right? Because that's what God has anointed. So information is always still vital. So we're going to base the fight in winter based off of Proverbs 27:9, where it says, "The heartfelt counsel of a friend is as sweet as perfume and incense." Now, tell me your emotions, your attitudes, and your behavior towards your spouse, and I'll tell you the season of marriage you're in, right? So today we're going to focus on the winter marriage. What are the emotions of the winter? Now, these emotions are going to consist of hurt, anger, disappointment, loneliness, and rejection. What are the attitudes of a winter marriage? In a word, in one word, is going to be summed up as negativity. You might hear things such as, I am so discouraged with my marriage. It's such a frustration. I don't know if we're going to be able to work things out, etc. Right? So, what are the actions in a winter marriage? Ooh, here we go. Speaking harshly or not speaking at all. Destructive and perhaps violent behavior. And in this season of marriage, couples are unwilling to negotiate any differences they have. Meaning, what I'm saying is right and I ain't budging. What you saying is wrong, and we're gonna keep it like that. Does
No
that make sense?
compromise.
No compromise. There's no compromise. It's like us against the world plus each other. All right. So conversations turn into arguments. There's no sense of togetherness, and the marriage is like two people living in a separate igloo. Now, the good news is that a winter marriage often makes couples so desperate to break out of their suffering and seek help from somebody else who can give them wise counsel, not just soak in their feelings. Does that make sense?
Hmm?
Now, the book of Proverbs refers to a heartfelt counsel from. I'm sorry, let me do that all over. I don't like. All right. So the book of Proverbs refers to heartfelt counsel from someone who cares for us as very sweet. Good advice is highly valuable, and often the perspective of someone outside the relationship is critical for people who really want to change, and those who seek help will find it. So, this is basically saying when you are in this stage of marriage, it is not okay to bottle it in, keep it to yourself, because what's going to happen, people on the outside is going to see what's going on, and they're going to not see your scenario but see your behavior, and they're going to want to know what's wrong because you're not your normal self, right? So it is very wise to seek wise counsel, meaning a person who has been in the experience and then overcame the experience and became successful at it. That is the best person to seek advice to, right? Don't ever go by the myth of whatever stays in the house needs to stay in the house and nobody needs to know, because somebody needs to help you. That's why God made people. We were made to use each other, not misuse each other. So if you can find somebody you can trust who has who makes wise choices that you see, go seek advice to those people. What you had to say about that, baby?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway for me is that knowing you're never stuck in that season of a winter marriage and that you can always make positive changes. So, to your point, seek counsel, prayer, um, or other resources that can help you.
That's a good question. Now that she say that, what do you believe in therapy? What's your take on therapist, counselor, psychiatrist? I thought they were all the same, but apparently they're not. So what's your
No,
take
they're
on?
not the same.
Yeah, what's your take on those?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that therapy can help if the person is open to it. I definitely think the number one therapy is your relationship with God, but I definitely think God, to your point, what that you made earlier, He made people to help you. So they have experience and education in these types of things that they can help you with and give you strategies or um, recommend different things to help you get through these times.
Yeah, and I semi agree with her. I believe like if you're gonna go to a therapist, go to someone whoever is one in your faith base, right? Because to me, a therapist's job is not to give you a resolution. Their job is to help make you find the resolution for yourself. So it's like
Hmm.
you can do that by having a faith base and listening to that same faith base instead of another person. Now, at the end of the day, if that helps you, more power to you. But if you rely more on God than a human being, in my opinion, you become more of a stronger person based off of the circumstances, because they can only know the surface or give you the surface. They can't really get in depth. God can get in depth because He knows exactly what you are going through. If that makes sense. That's where I become either a genius or a psycho. All right. Wow, what'd you say? Where we going?
Oh,
What's
what you
next?
got next?
Okay. So now that we talked about the fighting winter, let's move over to the seeds for spring. The seeds for spring. All right, so we're going to base this off of 2 Corinthians 9, verse 6. So if you have a Bible, you can go bust that open real quick. It says, remember this, a farmer who only plants a few seeds will get a small crop, but the one who plants generously will get a generous crop. Remember this, a farmer who plants only a few seeds will get a small crop, but the one who plants generously will get a generous crop. Whoo! Let that marinate real quick. Okay, now on the spring marriage, this is going to be filled with hope, anticipation, optimism, gratitude, love, and trust. Now, does this sound exciting to you? Well, it is. Some of you are saying, I remember the early days of our marriage or relationship when we were in our spring season. I want to just suggest to you that you can still have spring again. A healthy marriage or relationship will have many spring seasons throughout its years. So you hear that a healthy marriage or relationship will have many spring seasons. Unlike nature, it's not going in one order. Keep that in mind, okay? So, how do couples create this kind of climate? How do couples create a spring climate? And you create a spring climate by making plans and communicating openly. So you guys make plans. Don't let the outside world overtake what you guys got going on and then further separate you. And then you guys have to be open to communicate, meaning listening to what your partner's saying, comprehending it, throwing it back out there to make sure it's comprehended, and then giving your take, and you guys come to a compromise. Does that make sense? Okay. It says those who live in this spring relationship are willing to seek help of a counselor or read a relevant book, right? So those who want to live in a spring relationship, what you're going to do is go seek counsel, seek wise counsel, someone who's successful and where they're at, right? And then you can also read a relevant book, something that's relating to it, that's educational, right? Now, spring is a time of new beginnings when the streams of communications are flowing. A couple feels a sense of excitement about life together. They have a great hope for the future and they are planting seeds from which they hope to reap harvests of happiness. The above verse from 2 Corinthians gives us this promise. If we plant generously, we will experience a good return on our work. Those who plant seeds will see the flowers grow. Ooh, that shit's so philosophical. I love it because I'm a philosophical. I'm a zodiac. Part of my zodiac, I'm a Sagittarius, and I'm so deep. So forgive me, but like my man Gates say, I don't apologize. All right, but you got a question on that, baby?
Um, no, I think that with anything in life, it's the basic concept is if you work hard, you'll reproduce the benefit, right? And that's whether it's a marriage, whether it's work, whether any type of relationship in life or anything that you do.
Oh, sorry guys. Let's set it up right. There we